with crispy.
What's up, man?
Hey, it's good to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited to chat. It's been a wild wind down from Inbound, where we spent a lot of time together in different
Yeah, it has
places.
been wild.
And so, yeah, so how has it been since leaving San Francisco, going back to Utah, like settling down with demos and all that? How's the transition been for you?
It's been good. It's been wild. It's been a wild time in Utah. It's been half my team got sick right after Inbound also. So like it's been, all the crazy good stuff, but it's been fun to see some of the momentum that was built up carry over, and fun to hear a lot of the stories going on with partners and all the conversations about AskElephant. So that's been really fun.
That's cool. So were most of your conversations around HubSpot partnerships, or was it around like end users of AskElephant or end users of HubSpot?
Yeah, both, but we are, like, as a company, transitioning to focus more on end users right now, similar to Supered is as well,
Yeah.
actually. So like we're believing and making the bet that it's an easier vision for a partner to catch when they see how we provide value to their clients, not just themselves.
Very cool. And so I hear a lot about this thing called, go to market in like our ecosystem and stuff like that. And so your go to market with partners has been great, to date. And so let's talk about that, and we'll speak to the go to market of end users. How are partners thinking about, AI as a service, leveraging AskElephant, stuff like that, in your partnerships that you have?
Love this question. It is shocking how many partners are wanting to expand the services they offer to be AI based, because a lot of it, and this actually comes back to their client requests. The clients are coming to partners saying, hey, I don't want to get left behind in the world of AI. I only know this much of it, and I know it's, a lot more. Like, how do I adapt and adjust and level up and become modern, as it were? And so partners are being forced into the AI space, whether they want to or not. And so us being able to come in and say, hey, this is a place where you can start. We'll treat conversations you're already having as a doorway, a gateway. And then you can layer on these AI workflows and agents to automate your tasks, gives you insights or whatever else it might be. Like, the simple positioning of that enables these partners to go and build things for their clients that make their clients super happy. So, and then they obviously get a bill for it and have retainers that are on top of their HubSpot or whatever else retainer they have. Now they've got these AI retainers that are coming in play. So really fun to see.
Interesting. So I talk a lot about tech-enabled service with partners. And the thing that I think resonates, and especially like how we see success with AskElephant, is you can use AI to power an existing service arm. So are you noticing that they're integrating it into existing client problems, or are you seeing a pure AI as a service, like,
Yeah, both.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, so the second one is probably less common. The pure AI as a service is more of an evolving one that we're starting to see.
Yeah.
Plugging into existing services is way more common. So for example, if I do fractional RevOps consulting as a HubSpot partner, very common use case, right? They're able to come in and say, we need these 6 fields to be populated at the end of every sales call. Meeting outcome, for example, meeting type, just as 2 basic ones. The chance that your sales rep's actually going to update that all the time is low. And so these partners have adoption issues where they build out a system for someone, they have these reports and dashboards, but then because there's human errors or human bandwidth problems, those don't actually get filled out. So everything that's basic, from those kind of hygiene items, which now the partner can build out an AskElephant, auto-populate, and then the rest of their service has more value to it. Everything from that to if they're doing sales coaching, or if they're doing like whatever version of their consulting involvement is with their clients, we're able to help with a lot of that stuff to make it so it's adopted a lot heavier. And that leads and has led for some partners into an evolution of, hey, AI is a whole new world. Like, maybe you're tracking whatever you name it, enrichment, data, or whatever else, and you want to build a whole different framework for how you're going to accomplish that, whether it's our service or other AI tools. I have a lot of partners putting together an AI package of, hey, these are the 3 AI tools we roll out for everybody, and this is what that looks like.
That's very cool. Yeah, I think it's it sounds like there's a transition, or like a journey that partners or service delivery, businesses will have, which is the integration of AI into the business now for them is using it to power an existing service that they have. And the future evolution of this will be pure AI as a service as a starting point. That's really interesting. Because I think it's very much a black box, in the sense of, like, people hear AI and it's a very scary word, where they're like, oh, I don't know what that is exactly. My customers don't trust it. I don't know, like, et cetera. And so it's more of like AI is the functional usage tool. to solve X, Y, and Z problem that you have, customer, you know?
Yeah.
So then are you noticing that the usage of AskElephant for, you know, these, like you mentioned the word RevOps. Let's think about like RevOps leaders, sales managers, and like your pivot to end users. What is the most, you know, common thing that you're seeing in terms of problem set that either partners are solving for end users or they're coming to you to solve?
Love this question. And it is going to be persona based. So to your point, you talked about RevOps. So for RevOps, a couple of the main big ones is CRM hygiene, obviously, things like that. But there's also like a different version of insights that you can get. And these are actually some of my favorite ones. So I'll kind of dive into that. And it's more relevant towards like RevOps leaders who are more strategic thinking rather than just admin work, or even like a CRO or someone like that. And it's being able to understand the story of what actually is happening. And so there's a couple use cases we have for those, and not to go like into a feature dump kind of zone, but like there's one that Supered even loves is like our quote generator. Like we can generate quotes based off your client literally said this phrase about how much they love your product. Now you can go use that in marketing, whatever else. But also you get an insight of what they actually love. And in a similar vein, there's things you can do the reverse of that. Like what are the things that they're saying they don't love? What are the things they are complaining about?
Yeah.
And then there's a gap of stuff in the middle that is just doesn't matter. It's not a win criteria. It's not like a lose criteria. And so then it helps you double down on your marketing and your positioning and everything like that on the win criteria. And that's a basic, very generic way of saying, hey, we can just surface these quotes and let you do what humans do best and make inferences. But then you can go a step further and you can say, okay, now the deal's been marked close won. I've got 15 conversations. What were all the objections they brought up and how are they overcome? Like, and then you can have that kind of analytic spat out. And it's, when I say analytic, it's not even numbers at this point. It's an actual like story of what happened. And then your CRO or your RevOps leader gets to say, hey, when we have this certain persona come in, be it a sales manager or someone, when they're in our sales pipeline, how do we pitch to them and help them solve their problems so that we can give them the value they want? And on the flip side, when we lose, how are we approaching those? Is there a common thread of how we're answering objections? Is there a common thread of what their tech stack is? And then I get to go and use all that information to make decisions as opposed to just looking at numbers on a dashboard and trying to come up with some story that I probably am misunderstanding.
Yeah. I think even the simplest of use cases is so powerful because I am the RevOps leader for the business now. And like I own big pieces of the tech stack and functionally perform the role of like what a CRO would be. And it's interesting because the quote specific thing that we use AskElephant for is so powerful because we use it to drive our like go to customer strategy and go to market strategy. Like we right now the process is when we see like awesome quotes hit that Slack channel, it prompts us to go conduct case study interviews and create content from that, which was not possible before. And so the thing that resonates with me a lot is people talk about, oh, AI will replace humans, stuff like that. I don't think it will. I think if anything, it'll replace it'll activate things in your business that were not possible before because of human bandwidth like that. Like we were literally not able to build case studies previously because it was built upon someone flagging in a Zoom call, hey, they said this awesome quote. Now it's literally automated and it's more reactive, I guess, but in a really positive way because it surfaces it in real time for us to go and then act upon. And so yeah, it's really interesting. And so when you see like the surfacing of, you know, data, and I've seen a lot around like competitor analysis or like value props, you know, stuff like that. Do you see, I'll think about like the SaaS scenario, any functional usage of it using to guide product roadmap or like feature requests or stuff like that?
All the time. And we actually, so we dog food our own product. We use it internally. And this is one of the cases that I love. So we have a couple different ways of sourcing out, hey, product feedback of either a client or existing client or prospect saying, I wish it would do X, or I see that it's doing this, my challenge is this, or hey, I'm seeing this bug. Whatever the version is that they're saying, we have a couple different workflows that push things out. And so we have a repository that houses them. And then we have a different workflow that says, okay, we've had this like 50 requests now in the past week for a better customer health agent. Okay, that can now be prioritized because there's 50 requests. Well, maybe we have 50 for that, but we have 75 different clients who've requested something else. And so we get real-time updates to how we should prioritize our roadmap based on actual client feedback. And our product managers don't have to go and do hundreds of interviews. Instead, they can say, all right, these are the most common requests. These are the clients who requested them. This is the story we're being told. Let's go pick the 3 who've been the most vocal and seem to have the best grasp of what the actual problem is. And we'll now interview them and go build something that actually solves the pain. So that's been super fun.
Yeah, that's very cool. It sounds like it's interesting because if I think about, other note taker platforms, I'll say that as a really bad generalization of where AskElephant fits. It's not in reality where you fit, but I think about competitors of AskElephant, and it's so heavily designed towards sales teams or customer success teams or client facing roles. And the role of a product manager typically is not client facing, but it collects a lot of client feedback. And so it sounds like there's functional usage across the entire business like suite of teams and departments, not just a note taker for a rev team to collect good feedback on value props. It sounds like this is a tool that guides my product strategy and my customer feedback and my messaging and my go-to-market strategy and stuff like that, which I think is, this is why we heavily lean into the usage of AskElephant in the partnership because of that stuff.
Love it. Completely agree. And you're right. It is a generalization to say we're a note taker. We have a note taker. But if, being completely candid, there's a ton of really great note takers out there. And some, if you're looking for a purely ease of use note taking experience, there's some that are way cheaper or even free that give you the similar note taking experience. But we believe that note taking is the gateway, the doorway, like I was saying earlier, to everything else. And that's, as you were saying, that's where the value comes from, is unlocking what's behind those conversations, not just capturing them.
Yeah. And so I think it's really interesting because we talk about how our customers leveraging AskElephant, stuff like that. And so what's the next step? Like, we get to the gateway piece of using a note taker. We get to use the outputs of a note taker to act upon the data. What's like the enterprise experience or the, more complex use case of how someone's really successful with AskElephant?
Oh, see, this is a great question. We have started to see, so as you might know, AskElephant is an agentic workflow-based platform. And everybody says those words, but ours actually, and not everybody says, we actually are. But some of the enterprise solutions I've seen are these fantastically beautiful workflows. So everything from, hey, I got an email, it's now going to draft a response, send it to my Slacks, or send it to my inbox so I can just send to them, right? Or it's going to push SOWs to a Google Doc, or it's going to, you name it. There's a combination of workflows that happens that makes the customer journey from the very first time I cold call them to they've been a customer for a year and we're doing an upsell and renewal and whatever it is. That whole process, start to finish, there's a web of workflows that comes together to really take someone who would otherwise be an average salesperson or an average sales org, and it makes them a phenomenal, best-in-class org instead. That's the kind of experience that some of our enterprise customers are having right now.
That's very cool. So how do you see any use cases where there's sales to service handoff or sales to success handoff and people building agentic workflows
every day?
Okay.
Yeah, one of the best use cases is this. And it's partly because that's why, so founding story from Woody, that's part of why he built AskElephant. Was he's been in sales his whole life, and he's known firsthand the pain of a sales rep sells a deal, and then a month later a service rep's like, well, I don't know how the hell to implement this. You said things that we don't do. And he's like, no, I didn't do that. It's your problem now. And on the flip side, the service rep is sitting there full of frustration. So, and I've been in both roles. I did sales and onboarding in my life, and I was a HubSpot partner, so I've been on both sides of that there. But being able to know what was actually promised, being able to know what was discussed and said, hey, we can't do that, being able to isolate all that up front and then create this sales to service doc, which, and best in class, what I recommend folks do now is have the workflow spit it out and send it to both. Send it to the implementation team and the client. Say, this is what was agreed upon. This is what you said you wanted, that we said we would do, and this is the stuff we said we can't do, and this is the stuff you said if we could do later, that'd be great, but wasn't ever guaranteed. And that becomes now a foundation to a great experience, as opposed to these unmet expectations. It sets a level playing field and says, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it, and then everybody's off to a successful start. So
that's very cool, man. So going back to the founding story and the handoff process, I think that's something that everyone's dealt with if they've worked in some level of B2B SaaS in partner land or in the actual B2B SaaS company. let's think about, I'm starting a company and I'm having my founder's experience. What's the Mount Rushmore tech stack that I would use to scale me to be $1 billion company? What would you choose?
Ooh. See, I'm far too tactical for that kind of question. It's hard because what you start with is not what you'd end with, right? Like there's a couple basics. If you are a founder and you have the 0 to 1, as everybody should know, if they don't, that is a slog. It is so hard to go from 0 to 1 million in ARR. And I would probably suggest, if it was me, I would pick, it also depends on the industry. So you're getting hard. If we're doing B2B SaaS though,
Yeah.
I would say I actually would pick a tool like AskElephant. And I probably would use HubSpot's version they have for startups and founders with limited seats. And then depending on my employee count, I might have a couple others. I would probably get Slack later on, or their free version they have early, use that up front. I would use Gmail. I would not use Microsoft. They're great products, but man, I like Gmail a lot better. Google Suite's what I would use. And then it would all depend after that what I need. Like, am I looking for a Series A in my first year and a half? Am I going to do a seed round in 6 months? Am I going to hit $1 million in 5 years or 6 months? Like the rate that you're having those kind of things will dictate a lot of the other stuff. Do I need better RevOps stuff? Do I need to get a company like Intelligence or somebody else or some like data platform, or all those things are going to depend on the rest. So personally, if it was me, if I was starting a company tomorrow, the things that I would use, I would actually use AskElephant. I would use HubSpot's free version. I use Google Suite, and I'd probably use Slack's free version. Having my starting core, and then I would iterate and adjust based off what's needed later. And I don't think I would ever use Salesforce. I'll add in with that piece.
Ooh, I love it. Yeah, that's awesome. I agree with you. And I think a lot of people miss out on the collaboration piece more than anything else when they think about their tech stack, especially as you're at that, like seed stage level and less than 5 employees. And so, yeah, I agree with you, especially on the piece of like using AskElephant. I think about, my founder's journey and stuff like that. And AskElephant would have been incredibly impactful, especially as I hired team members to deliver a service. And I was like founder-led sales for a while. That would have been unbelievably impactful and saved so much time, and time is money in service-based businesses. And so I think that's the right mindset for sure. Let's talk about some of the upcoming November releases that you have.
Yes, I'm so pumped, and I'm not going to spill all the details, but 5 weeks ago, we launched a sprint, and it's going to be a 10-week sprint through November 14th. Maybe it was 4 weeks ago, whatever it was. But literally on November 14th, we have 6 or 7 different dev builds that we're working on. Revenue has their own goals. Every department at AskElephant has their goals they're shooting for, and the results have been phenomenal. So like, as much as I was saying, I would never use Salesforce, we are going to have a Salesforce agent ready by then. We're changing the way that AskElephant gets interacted with from a sharing a call experience. We're changing the way we integrate with different platforms all over the place. There's a workflow builder that you've seen yourself. It's going to be completely revamped into a chat workflow builder. So now I can interact with AskElephant and say, I'm trying to build this kind of workflow. What should I be thinking about? And it will guide you to a best-in-class workflow and then build it for you. Like, there's things like that where we're trying to take the complexity of AI and put it into the hands of a normal person who can come and say, I need to level up with AI. How do I actually do that? And we're trying to make the experience, not just an AI tool, but like the actual experience of using it, a much easier, much smoother process. And all these projects kind of lead into that. So it's pretty fun. It's been super fun to watch, and I'm excited for the release.
That's very cool. I like the focus on experience. I think that the thing that AskElephant does, and this is a shift that I'm sensing in the world right now, and mainly our ecosystem, is AI is really used to do things like reduce manual tasks, reduce errors, kill monotony, and do stuff like that. And it's focused less around providing an experience. And like, I'll use inbound as an example. I was getting fucking blasted with emails from people that I did not meet with ever at inbound, or it's like, hey, thanks for stopping by our booth. Like, I didn't leave the booth once when I was there to talk to any exhibitor at all. And so AI is mainly used currently to source data, and it's resulting in people just doing mass blasting again. Like, it's the rebirth of mass blasting on different channels. Whereas as with AskElephant, the usage that we see a lot of value in is it's used to improve experience and give us context to provide an experience. And so I like that the next step in the product roadmap is an internal experience focused around the chat to, improve the functional usage like that. It's very, very cool.
Love it. And yeah, very pumped by it. And one thing that you said earlier that I want to double down on is we're doing our best to make it so AI doesn't replace humans. We want to make AI make us better humans, do what we already do best, but even better.
Love it. Awesome. Okay. Final question. I understand that you're running like a big promotion in the business right now.
Yes.
What about that? Yeah.
So for partners, we've had a couple good momentum. What's the word I'm looking for? Swings that have happened with a few partners. And so to capitalize on that and to encourage it and to replicate it, we are taking anybody who hits a certain threshold. I think it's 100 seats of AskElephant sales. We're taking to Hawaii or Costa Rica or Malta, Maldives, whatever part of the world that's interesting to them. And for teams that hit it multiple times over, we're taking multiple people. So it's pretty fun we've got a few folks who are really excited about it, and it's been really fun to be a part of. The excitement has been much higher than I expected, so it's been fun.
That's very cool. It's the most tropical spiff I've ever heard. That's amazing.
Indeed.
Cool. Where can we find future AskElephant updates? How can we stay up to date with everything that's is happening in the business, November releases, stuff like that? How can we stay in touch?
Great question. LinkedIn, obviously, we'll do all our stuff there. You can follow us on LinkedIn. You can follow Woody or myself there. We'll be posting these things as well. We have a new head of marketing who's going to be doing a lot of product releases and updates. So on our website, we'll also have things in November. And then for our partners and customers, you'll start seeing newsletters and news videos coming out here shortly with some of these releases as well. So follow us on LinkedIn. Obviously, go subscribe and use AskElephant. You'll be part of our newsletter group. And we are also, one of these other things we'll be launching soon is a community center. So almost not like a blog, but like you can log in, you can see what other people are doing, you can chat with folks, see use cases, and we'll have a news release portion on there as well.
Very cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining. This was fun. I'm excited to see what comes out, and we'll see if I can get some people to Hawaii.
Sounds good, Chris. Be excited.
Cool, man. Thanks again.
Hey, see ya.
Crunchtime with crispy